What's up, guys? This is Matt the Misfit for Misfit Wrestling Podcast. I am here with a good friend of mine that we're going to do, JP from Loves Wrestling. What's going on, guy?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. Yeah, dude, I'm excited. We got a couple big shows from AEW this week. I'm excited to talk about and do some predictions and stuff. But yeah, tonight should be a good one. I think Friday night will be a good one too with Rampage. But tonight I think is going to be really, really good. It's their biggest Dynamite from a crowd perspective ever. So I think they're going to give us something to remember. I really do. I feel like
is what's
a lot of people. I've seen videos on Twitter already of like the line and like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of people there. I'm jealous. It's only like a 3-hour ride from where I was. I was contemplating it for the last few weeks about just saying F it and going, but I ended up not.
It's kind of funny because a few weeks ago when the week of All Out, I ordered the CM Punk shirt, the new one that came out.
Yeah.
And it's ironically, today is when it came into the mail.
That's awesome, though. At least you can wear it while you're, I know he's not wrestling tonight, but you can at least wear it during the big show. He is. He's going to cut a promo. It should be a good one. CM Punk is awesome at basically everything he does.
And we are going to run through both shows because it is a big thing because we're going to do both prediction shows, so that way we can have that set up. We're going to run through Dynamite because that's the big show tonight.
Yes.
Let's go with the match that I think is going to open the show. And I think that's going to be Malachi Black versus Cody Rhodes. This may be longer than their last match.
I think it will be. I would probably bet my money that it will be, yeah.
I'm praying to God that Cody Rhodes does not win this thing.
So am I. I think the right decision is to let Malachi Black win. Maybe not as decisively as the first time, but it should end up being pretty decisively. Pretty decisive.
I'm very happy how they presented Malachi Black so far.
I am as well.
Now I know people who are watching this video will probably notice that sometimes his screen will freeze up a little bit. It's weird. OBS is weird sometimes, so I can't really do anything about that. But at least he's on there. So yeah, Malachi Black is my pick to win. I would love to see Disaster kick into the Black Mass.
That'd be cool. I think that would be a cool thing that nobody's ever seen before. Like, a good new iteration where you think Cody's going to hit one of his signature moves and it's just right into the end.
Yeah,
I think that would be clever. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the right decision would be Malachi going over again. I also agree with you that I have liked the way that they've presented him so far. That entrance is badass.
Mm-hmm. I'm just
he's awesome.
The people that get to see it live at Dynamite tonight.
Oh, yeah. Like, his entrance is really great. The music's great. The presentation's great. He's had his matches, a few of them have been a little bit more competitive than I thought they would be, considering that he destroyed Cody rather quickly.
Yeah, the Brock Anderson match, I didn't thought it was going to last long as it did.
Yeah, I thought the Brock Anderson match should have literally been like 20 seconds. Just like a bell ring kick over. Like, the match with Dustin.
It was good. I enjoyed that.
It was a very good match, but like the way that Alistair kind of handled Cody, I was shocked that his older brother of almost 20 years lasted longer. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. But all in all, I think that he's been presented well. He hasn't lost. I don't think he should lose tonight. So, yeah, I agree with you. I'm going Malachi Black too.
What's great about this is, and I somehow figured this out. This is going to be his third largest venue match that he's ever done.
That would make sense. Yeah, I mean, it's a big event tonight.
His first one was WrestleMania 35. That was like 80-something thousand.
New York.
People.
Yeah.
Then the two Royal Rumbles, which are like 40 plus.
Yeah, and the baseball stadiums. Yeah.
So this is gonna be great. Yeah, I think I'm excited for that. That's gonna be good. We might as well talk about CM Punk since we brought him up. CM Punk gonna do an interview tonight. Probably gonna be Tony Schiavone in the ring because it's what he does.
Yeah, most likely.
Are we going to get serious CM Punk this time?
I think so. I think on Rampage, which we'll talk about in a little bit, he's fighting Hobbs, and I'm very intrigued by that match, Powerhouse Hobbs and him. So I would expect a more serious Punk, and I would expect maybe some physicality with Team Taz, maybe not Hobbs himself, but he got taken out last week on Dynamite by those guys. So I could see Punk maybe getting some revenge, maybe taking out Hook or taking out
Send Hook.
Ricky Starks or send Hook, man. So yeah, I mean, I think it'll be some physicality, but definitely a more serious. Because look at I understand the legend of CM Punk. He's amazing. We're all thrilled that he's back, but Powerhouse Hobbs is a big dude. He's a big guy. That's a tough test for Punk.
I mean, to be fair, he's picked up Paul White for the GTS.
That is true. That is true.
I think
but that wasn't after having 7 years off.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all in all, yeah, I expect the beginning of the promo to be, him just kind of riling up the crowd and getting, you have to understand, and I was talking about this on Love Wrestling on one of my shows last week, they're going to all these cities. Like CM Punk just came back, right? He came back in Chicago and but all these cities are seeing CM Punk for the first time since he's come back, right? So they're really every time he shows up, he gets these monster pops because tonight, it's this is New York's first time that they're going to see CM Punk in a wrestling ring in 7 years. So I expect him to, cater to the crowd, have that big entrance, crowd going bananas, and then I expect a little bit of some sort of thing happening with Team Taz to set up the match.
And I really enjoyed his match with Darby too, which was
it was amazing. I thought it was very good. I thought it was better the second time you watched it.
Yeah, I'm Punk looked like he hadn't lost a step, which is great.
Yeah, and it was good because he made Darby wrestle him too, which Darby's a good wrestler too. But when you think about Darby, you think of the daredevil aspect because that's what his character is. But Punk was yeah, we're not doing a ton of that. You're gonna have to out wrestle me, kid. You know what I mean? That type of thing. And yeah, it was a very good match. I thought it was, the tag cage match is the match that everyone kind of remembers from that, but I thought the Punk Darby match was
match of the night.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was a match of the night contender.
And so same thing. I agree with everything you say about Punk and the whole thing with Team Taz. It seems like they're going through Punk's wish list of people he wanted to wrestle.
Yeah,
which is fine.
I agree.
I'm good.
I like it though. Right. Yeah, I like it. Don't get me wrong. Do I want to see Punk and Daniel Bryanson fight? You're damn right I do. Do I want to see Punk and Omega or Punk and Cody? Yeah, of course I do. But I like that he's coming back and he's fighting the guys that we haven't seen on our TV for
Punk
a super long time.
has said in a few interviews he'll get to those guys.
Oh yeah, of course he will.
But he wants to run through the young guys.
Let me fight the younger guys that kind of intrigued him to come back a little bit. You know what I mean? So, and
speaking of Darby Allin, who's a terrible friend to CM Punk, just decided to not help him the last week. Imagine, I didn't think I was ever going to say out of my mouth. FTR versus Sting and Darby Allin.
Yeah, huh? The New York crowd getting a match, the Sting match. Man.
I mean, knowing how big of an NWA fan FTR are. They gotta be smiling.
This gotta be this has to be a dream. They're we're going to be wrestling Sting. You understand?
In front of 20,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm glad Sting is back. He looks like he hasn't lost a step either. He's been doing.
Well, it's one of those things where they protected him. His first couple matches were filmed ones, so he could be protected. But
the first one was.
Yeah, but the match that when we've seen him in the ring and stuff like that, and when he's taking bumps on the outside, he looks like he's Sting.
I mean, he took a pile driver last week.
Yeah, he took the spike pile driver and he took it $1 million. And I expect Tully to get involved here because they've been kind of teasing that Tully wants to fight Sting in a match, kind of one last time.
Now, this is a hard one to predict though, because I don't know if you want to have Sting lose this early again, but also I don't know if you want to have FTR lose because they haven't really been doing much as of late.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's for me. It's FTR probably should win, because they're in the tag team division, and you want them to look strong and potentially go for the tag titles again at some point. But how are you going to have Sting and Darby lose in front of that crowd? How are you going to do it? I don't think you're. They're my pick, Sting and Darby. Not necessarily what I want to happen. I would love FTR to. Maybe Tully does get involved and there's some chicanery or BS and they end up winning and it's okay, well, a loss ain't going to hurt Sting or Darby. Sting is Sting.
And Darby,
it's not going to hurt Sting.
I try to explain this to the people who said Darby should beat Punk. I'm no, he really shouldn't.
Darby's
Darby
Yeah,
will
Darby's
be fine.
untouchable.
Like,
yeah, Darby's already
people forget that
untouchable.
Darby
Made man.
Yeah, people forget last year Darby first match of 2020 was against Cody Rhodes. He lost, and then a few months later he wrestled CM Punk in Chicago.
Yep. Darby, the way that they positioned Darby, even early on, he had that time limit draw with Cody, and it was like, okay, and they kind of made it seem like this guy is gonna be a guy. Like they presented him really well. He was the TNT champion. Like he's lost plenty of matches, and it does not affect. The next time he comes out, his pop is just as loud as it was the last time. And to me, him and Sting losing doesn't hurt them at all. But I just can't in this setting see them having Sting, specifically Sting, lose.
Sting losing to FTR, that's going to be huge for FTR.
It would be, which is why I kind of want FTR to win, because that's like, hey, we beat Sting.
You know what?
We beat Sting. You know,
for heel heat, I'm going to have FTR beat Sting and Darby Allin.
That's good. I would be. That's what I want to happen. I think Sting and Darby will end up winning, but I would love FTR to win and then kind of get that, like, that's something that they can rub in our faces or rub in the people's faces for every promo ever. Oh, we beat Sting.
So now we got MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. Before we get into that, news that broke Monday, which was amazing. The Owen Hart Foundation AEW news. I'm super excited. We're gonna get more Owen Hart figures. That's gonna go flying.
He's gonna be in the video game too. We get to play as Owen Hart. That'd be cool.
We get T-shirts and all that stuff. But the thing I'm looking forward to is the Owen Hart Cup tournament.
Yes,
and I love that they're calling it the Owen, which is great. I know a lot of people saying that if Kevin Steen comes in, he should win the. However,
the inaugural. Yeah.
However, people are not realizing Brian Pillman's dad was in the Hart Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
It would be poetic if Brian Pillman Jr. wins the first ever Owen Hart.
Yeah.
Trophy.
I mean, I would. Yeah. I mean, this is a big spot. This match right here is a big spot for Brian Pillman. That's a big, big spot for him. That shows you how much that they trust him and they have faith in him. That he's in this venue, biggest crowd ever, and he's going against. I mean, you could make an argument that MJF has been the most well-booked
heel
performer in AEW overall. He only has 2 losses, and both of them were because the good guys cheated to win.
Yeah, I believe the first one was with John Moxley, right?
Yeah, and he couldn't use the double arm DDT, and he did it behind the ref's back to beat him. And then the last one where he lost to Jericho.
Yeah, that's right.
Jericho cheated and won again. He hit him with the bat, and he cheated anyway. Yeah. So you got to understand, those are his only 2 losses in AEW, and both guys had to cheat to beat him.
Now, and with this here, MJF should win.
Oh yeah,
Brian Pillman Jr.
Oh yeah,
I would build up Brian Pillman Jr. to win that tournament, and the finals, in my opinion, should be MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. Then that's when Brian Pillman beats MJF.
Kind of gets over him. I mean, yeah, I think that would be a good story. I don't know. I mean, I think, how long are you going to wait before you give MJF the heavyweight title?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, Omega has it. Nobody should beat Omega besides Hangman. Like,
which we'll get to that.
Yeah. It should be Hangman that actually is the one. I think most of us probably agree that Hangman is the guy that should beat him. But at the same time, like, MJF needs to be the heel champion, like, sooner than later, right? And just be that asshole, and he's the head guy, he's the champ.
Like, I had the idea before, this is before like Malachi Black and Punk and all that came in. I was like, after Hangman Page, they should start building MJF up for Page, because he would be a perfect heel to face uber babyface Hangman Page.
Yeah.
Then after Malachi Black decide, hey, I'm just going to destroy Cody Rhodes in my first match in like 5 minutes. I'm like, you know what? I'd have Hangman Page be the champion, and depending on how long you want to keep Malachi, I keep calling call Aleister Black. Malachi Black undefeated. Give Malachi the match with Hangman.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of ways they can go. AEW, and I think this is the main difference. There's a lot of differences between AEW and WWE. But one of the main differences is when you talk about AEW, the way that they book everybody from the top of the card to the bottom of the card, they make everybody look good.
And everybody's doing something, too.
Yes, everybody's doing something that matters, whether it's a mid-card story, a lower card story, a top card story. Everybody's doing something that matters, and even when they lose, the losses matter.
Yeah.
Like when you get to WWE, you have your 5 or 6 people. You have your Roman, your Big E, your Charlotte, your Sasha, your Bayley, your Becky. Right. You got your 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and then the rest of the card, they don't give a shit about. Sorry, I don't know if we can swear, but they don't give a crap about.
That's fine.
They don't give a crap about. You know what I mean? Like if you're in the mid card, you are doing meaningless crap. Might be on TV, but you're most likely doing meaningless crap all the time.
What's the most recent example of that? Shinsuke Nakamura, right?
Nakamura is the Intercontinental Champion, for crying out loud. And he does
for
nothing.
Some odd reason, we're still doing him and Apollo Crews.
Yeah, for the 19th time. That's another issue with WWE is it's rematch central. Everything is rematches.
This is why I want Nakamura to switch brands. He needs to go to Raw. Yeah,
I mean, the draft is coming up, so hopefully, I think we're going to get a good amount of call-ups.
I have this feeling. I don't think we're going to get enough, a lot of call-ups because they've distanced themselves from NXT.
But I think part of the reason though is, I don't know if you've watched both episodes of the 2.0 since it started this week and last week.
I don't really like it.
I don't hate the whole thing like a lot of people do, but there's good and bad. But the one thing that's
I do like Rex Steiner. I'm not calling that other terrible.
Yeah, Rex Steiner would have been a good name, Braun Breaker. And here's the thing, I do like him too. I like the singlet. I like his look. I like his intensity. I like the promos. I like everything about the guy. That is one of the worst names in the history of professional wrestling. In the history, Braun Breaker with 2 Ks.
If you close your eyes and you hear him talk, you think you're listening to... Yeah.
100%. He looks just like Rick Steiner, which he should. He's his kid. He looks just like Rick Steiner, but he sounds exactly like Scott Steiner.
I want him to do the Steiner mouth. Promo so bad.
And they're clearly positioning that guy right away. Like he's been involved with Ciampa, who's the champ. He's been staring at the title. A lot of people
were mad about it. I wasn't very mad about it.
No, whatever, dude.
Ciampa was if you weren't going to go with Pete Dunne, go with somebody who actually is an established name in NXT.
Well, and I think the issue is they had that lined up for Joe. They wanted Joe to be the the standard bearer, the gatekeeper. And then Joe got hurt, and they were like, okay, well, Ciampa is basically at that level. We can just give it to Ciampa. And it makes sense because Ciampa never lost it the first time.
Right.
So it makes sense. And then Ciampa can fight Dunn or these younger guys. And then eventually when the next guy to take over is ready, he has a credible victory in one of the staples of NXT history, in Ciampa. So
now,
back
to AEW.
Sorry. No, but I forget where I was going with my point. But I think when you get
having things.
Yeah, when you get to the draft, I think we are going to see a lot of call-ups because they've introduced literally feels like 15 new talents in 2 weeks. Just brand new people all over the place in NXT, and that makes me think that a lot of the ones that they might be coming up and a big reshuffle.
My worry, the one I'm more worried about is if they do want to call her up is Io Shirai. I'm really worried about that one.
Yeah, it would make sense. Yeah. I mean, I'm worried about anybody they call up because they have a track record of not doing anything productive with almost all of them. So
they do seem to like Priest. I will give them that.
Well, Damian Priest is an example of something they're doing correctly because they're booking him right because he wins every week.
Yeah, which is great. And he's on TV.
Yes, and that's why he feels like he's going to be a big star because every time we see him, he's either winning every week or he's just doing cool shit.
Right.
And that's cool. That's how you build somebody, not by having them win 1 week and then lose 2 weeks and then win 1 week. That's not how nobody's going to invest their rooting interest in somebody who's a loser.
Right.
It is what it is,
So I got MJF. I'm assuming you got MJF too.
MJF, 100%. So,
next we get the Women's Championship match. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Ruby Soho.
I'm looking forward to this one a lot.
Ruby Soho is not going to win the championship.
I agree.
I think they're saving, if there is going to be a title switch for the Women's Championship at any point, it should be between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa.
Yes, I would think that match is what they're going to build to because the first one was already so legendary. However, and I agree, I am picking Britt Baker, so I am on your side here. It would be pretty dope if Ruby pulled it off, wouldn't it? Like that crowd would go bananas. And you can always give it back to Britt. Britt can always win it back.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of hot potatoing the.
I'm not either, which is why I think Britt will win. But I think this match,
which is the reason I'm over the Raw Women's Championships because when they first did the draft back in 2016, or when they brought it back in 2016, they hot potatoed the title between Sasha and Charlotte multiple times, and I hated that.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, and it's kind of the opposite nowadays with the men over there. Like they have longer title reigns. Like Roman has had it forever. Lashley had it for a good amount. So I'm a fan of longer title reigns.
Right.
If it's part of the story and they kind of go back and forth and hot shot it, but if it's part of a bigger story, that's okay to me. I'm a fan of longer title reigns. I just like people because it just gives the longer you hold it, the more credible you are. It just gives more credibility to the performer.
Now,
they've had the title for a year.
Who they do next for Britt Baker? I would run back Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida because she still hasn't got a rematch yet.
Sure, you could do that.
You do all that stuff, but yeah, we're going with Britt Baker here.
Yes,
match that I'm pretty sure, almost certain everyone's like, this match is happening in 2021. It's incredible. Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, versus Bryan Danielson, non-title. I didn't ever think I would say that in 2021.
Who would have thought, right?
Imagine this. Who would have thought? Imagine this. 6 months earlier, he wrestled. What the hell is his name? Roman Reigns on the SmackDown. Yep. And then a few months later, his first match in AEW was with Kenny Omega. Incredible stuff. I've heard a lot of people say should go to Brian, should go to Kenny. I've heard a lot of people say time limit draw. I don't know.
Maybe.
This one is kind of tough.
It is. Well, here's my thing.
Because it's not even a title match, so that's
exactly. And I think that's where, and it makes sense because Brian just got there. He's not ranked. He's never had a match, so he shouldn't get a shot at the. He shouldn't get a shot at the title no matter what, because AEW wins and losses and records matter, and that just would go against everything that they do.
Didn't come in and say, "Hey, I want a title match immediately."
No, Punk's gonna get some. He'll get there. They both will. Him and Bryan Danielson, they'll both get there. But the non-title part of it makes me think that Bryan Danielson. I'm still iffy on it though. I think as much as this is the match where I think everyone's like, "Holy crap, we are seeing Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson wrestle." Right. I think it's the hardest one to call on the show because Bryan Danielson is also the type of performer and professional wrestler that if the right thing to do is have Kenny Omega win, he's going to be totally cool with Kenny Omega winning. You know what I mean? Like behind the scenes, like he's going to be totally cool with what's best for the show because that's how he rolls.
We've already seen Kenny lose on AEW television. That was to Christian, yeah. I don't know if they want to do it again so early.
It's true. And if Omega wins, that's a big feather in Omega's cap, obviously. And then Bryan has something to feed off of, like to kind of get back on track or whatnot. But it's non-title. If Bryan wins, then Kenny starts to go a little bit more crazy, a little bit more whatever, and it leads. And then down the line, Bryan's gonna. He has already beaten Kenny Omega, so Bryan will have that. Okay, well I beat you once, so now put the title on the line. You know what I mean? Not right away, but like months down the line, or something like that.
Well, my thing here is I'm going with Kenny Omega to win via Don Callis and his.
Yeah, like cheating, like the elite get involved or some chicanery. Yeah.
And
that is probably a safe bet, I would think. Go ahead. Yeah, I want to hear it.
I think it's going to happen afterwards. They're going to have the elite come down, beat the ever-living piss out of Daniel Bryan. Out comes Hangman Page for the save.
That would be. There have been a few small rumors that. Maybe they were planning the Hangman return tonight because of the crowd, which I think would be
and that pop.
Yep. And then you can that place will go bananas. Yeah. And then you can have the Hangman Omega match at Full Gear.
Which makes sense. A year ago, they had that match which set up Kenny winning the title from Moxley.
And then Hangman wins finally, or he loses, and then the next time he gets him. But either way,
like, is named after Hangman Page, if we're being completely honest, too.
It is. It is. So
you do that. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to set up here.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm not really the opposite way because I think your prediction is correct. I do think Hangman's coming back. I think Daniel Bryan's going to win. I'm sorry, Daniel Bryan. I'm going to say that 1,000 times. Bryan Danielson. I just try to call him Bryan because I think that's like just the way to go. But I think Bryan's going to win. Then I think the Elite.
I thought about that too.
After.
Yeah, that was another thing I had.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think the Elite will be at ringside.
They could also do the time draw and do the same thing.
It could go either way, but I'm gonna pick Bryan to win. It's his first match. It's a big deal. I think he maybe gets the best of Omega. And then the Elite come in, beat the crap out of him, start taking him out, and then we see.
I think I feel like they're going to do the time limit draw so neither man loses.
Yeah, I mean that would be okay too. That's a way to do it.
I just want a fantastic wrestling match. That's all I want.
I mean, at this point, with those two guys and their history, they would have something
like if you really
something crazy would have to happen for it not to be.
Like if you ask anybody, like who wins, the fans.
Yeah, 100%. Dude, like you said when we started talking about it, we're in 2021, and we're seeing Kenny Omega wrestle Bryan Danielson for free on free television for free.
I mean, this happened a few years ago in Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think it was 9, 10 years. It was a while ago. Daniel Bryan was in WWE for
2009.
Yeah, so we're talking 11 years ago. And neither of them, they were still considered really good. Daniel Bryan was an indie darling forever, but they weren't. Obviously now they're at different levels. Like they are both considered two of the best wrestlers of all time. So back then they were respected, considered to be very good, but they weren't considered to be two of the greatest to ever do it at that time. I
think this match should be commercial free.
That would be incredible. Because AEW, for as good as they are, and I do think it's the best wrestling product on the planet, and I don't think it's close, in my opinion. I know
it used to be
NXT.
Not
everyone agrees.
It used to be NXT.
Yes. The one thing that bothers me is every time during the main event, like less than 5 minutes into the match, there's the picture-in-picture, and that takes me out of it a little bit.
I understand. They have to pay their investors.
Of course, you got to pay the bills, man. You got to pay the bills.
If you're gonna give this dream match, the match people have been wanting for years, away for free.
Nice.
Put it on commercial free. But then we got another show that's apparently, from my understanding, is going to be first half is going to be taped before Dynamite, and then the second half is going to be taped after Dynamite. Is what Andrew Zarian has said.
Another 2-hour special. So we get two 2-hour specials. So
I'm running by what Wikipedia says here. We got the Super Click, Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. The Super Click is going to win this one.
I would agree. I don't think they're going to have Adam Cole lose this early at all.
I am digging that they're probably going to do Adam Cole and Jungle Boy at Full Gear, maybe.
And I'm all for that.
They might do.
I'm all for that.
Or what they could do. Now I'll get to that. We'll get to CM Punk later. I had an idea of Brian asking for help to face the Young Bucks, and it be CM Punk.
That would be cool.
That'd be cool. Punk has said, is Daniel Bryan available?
Yeah, that would be cool. I haven't thought about that really, but I think, if you see Punk and Bryan teaming up, everyone would go bananas, and then if it eventually leads to them just facing each other, again. Because that's happening too. Punk and Bryan are fighting at some point.
I love their match,
and everyone's going to black out, and it's going to be but that's good. I actually would like that. I think that would be good because they're both not going to be involved with the title or anything like that anytime soon. I know Punk still. I'm assuming he's going to run through all of Team Taz before he's on to his next thing. But
I do think eventually. I think the first loss he's going to have. I think he's going to put over Ricky Starks.
I don't think that's a bad thing to do because I think Ricky Starks is money.
And you can tell how high Tony Khan is on Ricky Starks.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They just announced, they said that he's permanently taken over Mark Henry's commentating
I have
gig
to
on
be
Rampage.
honest. Mark Henry, I don't know why anybody thought that was going to work.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Mark Henry being the guy that does the chats before the main event
Yeah.
and kind of building up that. Like that's cool. I'm cool with Mark. Yeah, I mean Mark
You know what?
Henry.
Put Punk
He
on
has no
commentary on
commentating.
there too. If you
Well,
want.
yeah, Punk's just a natural at everything. Punk it can do no wrong. But I like Ricky Starks a lot. I thought he was good last week on Dynamite. So yeah, cool. Whatever. I'm good with it.
So we got Inner Circle, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager versus the Men of the Year. Gonna be really honest with you. Don't give a crap about this match.
That's fine. I really like Ethan Page.
I do like Ethan Page.
I'm a big
Scorpius
fan
guy
of Ethan
hasn't really
Page.
done much of anything for me since
the beginning, really. Like he fought Jericho early on for the title. He had a title match with Jericho like the first couple months, and then it's really just been nothing special, ever since.
So I'm gonna assume the Inner Circle's winning here.
I'm going against you. I'm going against you with this.
I mean,
here's my thing. The whole promos leading up to this with Dan Lambert and all that stuff, I think it would basically ruin everything that they've been doing if they lose. You know what I mean? Like they've been building it up like they're better than everybody else in AEW. AEW has a bunch of 5'8", 190-pound losers, blah blah blah. These guys are real men. All this stuff. If they lose, like their first match, since they've kind of aligned with American Top Team and Lambert, I think that kills that whole thing.
well,
You know what I mean?
Well, my thing is, how long is it gonna go? Like, what's the end game of that whole thing?
I don't know. But, I mean, I want to see them. I'm glad they're actually wrestling. Like, I don't want to just see them standing next to this guy talking every week. Like, get in the ring and wrestle, you know? So, I don't know, man. I think I'm going against you. I think I'm picking Men of the Year just because from a booking perspective, I think them losing would basically ruin the whole if they lose, then I don't give a crap. And you seem like you already do, like you're not that interested in it. Like
I'm at the point where it's
I don't care what Lambert said. Like, okay, well they lost, so I don't care.
I'm at the point where it's like either give me some what's the end game here, or
Yeah.
So, all right, we got CM Punk versus Powerhouse Hobbs, another match I didn't think I'd say out of my mouth.
I am. Yeah, this one I'm excited for.
I think CM Punk is going to win this.
I agree. But I think Hobbs will look like $1 million. I think CM Punk's going to make Hobbs look like a legitimate star during this. So
yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know if they're going to ever have Hook wrestle at all. Maybe.
I mean, the day he does, that crowd is going to go crazy.
They lost their mind when he put a Dragon Sleeper on Punk the other night.
Yeah. So. Well, here's the thing, and like Hook hasn't wrestled the match at all, and he has like a following, like a legitimate following on social media where like people love that kid,
right?
And he hasn't really done a ton. He hasn't done anything really. Right. People love that kid. So the day that he actually does wrestle, he's going to be over because he kind of already is, and he's done literally nothing. So
now we got the 8-man tag match, Lucha Brothers, the AEW Tag Team Champions, with I'm assuming is going to be their next challenger, teaming with Santana and Ortiz versus Hardy Family Office. I'm so glad they're moving on from best friends.
Oh yeah, dude.
Baby. Actually, the more I think about it, I don't think they're done with that.
Probably not like forever, but I'm glad to see them fighting somebody that isn't a part of the best friends. I'm glad.
They're taking on Private Party, Butcher and the Blade, which I think I would love to see Butcher and the Blade join Malachi Black in a House of Black stable.
House of Black, yep. I think they fit in much more with him than they do with Matt Hardy.
And he even said during All Out when they did those fan fest things, he said Abaddon, Butcher and the Blade.
I mean, that makes sense. If you look at all the other characters on AEW, that is the perfect group. They'll have the female representative, they'll have the tag team, and then he's the main event lead.
Because there is, I don't know how good of a chance Bray Wyatt may pop in as something to do with the Dark Order. So we don't know.
I think, and again, the guy Spencer, who runs Love Wrestling, he vehemently disagrees with me, but I think if Bray Wyatt goes to AEW, he should be the leader of the Dark Order. And I think he should have the concept where he's like, I'm here to finish what my brother started. Like I'm here to finish what my brother Brody. And they would have to go, Dark Order would have to go evil. Like they would not be like the funny guys anymore. They would have to go dark.
Because if there is anybody that could take that spot,
it's 100%
I think Brody would be okay with Bray taking that spot.
And I think all of us as wrestling fans and knowing their history would understand it too. We'd be like, this makes sense.
Right, because
this guy, I'm assuming they'll call him Wyndham Rotundo or whatever name he makes up. But
Bray Wyatt's probably going to come up with a cool name because that's what he does. He's creative.
No, yeah, of course. And he's super creative. It'll be he'll look like, he'll look cool because he's always been creative.
Yeah.
It's just been the actual creative side of WWE that has ruined him to the point where he left.
Or got fired.
Or got fired, yeah. It just makes sense to me that he would come back and be like, you know what? Like my brother had a vision and it got cut short, and in his honor, I am here to finish. I'm here to finish that vision.
The way they've been doing the split, or season split, it feels like they're bringing him in for that.
I mean, that's what that's what the rumors say, is that he's definitely going there. Yeah, I mean, I think I understand why nobody would ever want like a real leader of the Dark Order anymore. Like it's always kind of Brody's or -1. Like I completely understand it, and if they went that route, completely cool with it because I loved Brody Lee. I get it.
Man, it sucks knowing that next week they're going to be in Rochester. He's not going to be here.
I know. It's really one of the big bummers that he never got that debut in his hometown where that place would have exploded for him.
He's gonna miss being at this show tonight.
Yeah,
which sucks.
Dude. I mean, and like wrestling fans, like we get emotionally attached to things, and like we're humans. We all have emotions. That one I think it was tough for all of us, but specifically for me, like. That one was super tough, man. That was a tough time, man.
Yeah, like not a lot of wrestling tribute shows get to me, but the two that did was the Brody tribute and the Owen tribute.
Yeah, yeah. So. And I think the Brody one just came out of nowhere. I don't think, and none of us knew he was sick. None of us knew he was,
and which is
we knew
one of the few reasons that got Punk and Bryan into AEW.
Yeah, because they kept it. Because like he was sick for a while, and like. There was speculation that he was maybe injured or something like that, but they kept that, like, his wife and his family, they told the locker room, and every one of those people kept their mouth shut.
Which is great.
There was no leaks. There was no anything. And then all of a sudden we heard that, not
he was gone. That it happened, but
no, but that shows you how much they respected the family and they respected Brody.
Right.
But
yeah.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to, Lucha Brothers, Santana Ortiz win this one. I'm hoping this is the tag match at Full Gear. I
hope so. I want Santana.
I want that so bad.
And I know the Lucha Brothers just won the titles, and I like them a lot. I want Santana. I've wanted Santana and Ortiz to be those tag champs for a while.
A lot of people thought it was going to be Young Bucks and Santana Ortiz tonight.
Yeah.
But,
But I would agree. I think they're all I would say that they're going to win, and then maybe they have like just kind of a stare down after, like kind of like a gentleman's agreement, like, hey, we're coming for those. And the Lucha Brothers are like, all right, bring it on, man.
I mean, our second women's match not the night, but it's going to be the night for the people in attendance. But it's going to be the first match on, what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
Anna Jay versus Penelope Ford. I'm a big fan of Anna Jay ever since she joined the Dark Order. Brody Lee picked a perfect person to join the Dark Order. She's gone into her own. I think by sometime next year, she'll be women's champion.
I think she's a future women's champion for sure.
Anna Jay will win this one. I think this may be her first singles match back.
Yes, I believe it will be. I think so. Yeah.
Unless she's had a match on Dark since then, I'm not sure.
Well, yeah, but on like one of the main like cable shows, I think this is like kind of her. But I agree with you. I think she wins. Penelope Ford has gotten a lot better, and I like her too. But I think Anna Jay wins. I also like how she's kind of become not the leader, but she's kind of been like the focal point of the Dark Order when they're all arguing with each other. She's the one that's like, hey, cut the shit. Like, you guys need to stop. Like, I don't want to be around you guys if you don't stop this. Like, figure it out. You know, like she's kind of.
I'm very curious how they're gonna like handle if they do put Bray Wyatt in there, and see how they're gonna handle. Like, what's the you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, the way that they're so I don't think they break up the Dark Order, but like you have Silver and Reynolds, who are kind of comedy guys. They even kind of were, for a while, even with Brody. They're kind of the comedy part of it. And then you have Evil Uno and Stu. And those guys, when they first came, were the bad, they were the bad guys, whatever.
Yeah, like no one liked the Dark Order at first, too.
Correct. And then Brody got there and it was like, okay, now they have a leader, like this is cool. And then when BTE came out and you saw that they were funny and Brody was whipping papers at them and screaming and swearing all the time, it was like, this is amazing.
Fucking killed me.
Yeah. And then, obviously, once again, we're bringing it up again, but like once Brody passed away, it was like, okay, well, we're not going to have people boo these guys.
Yeah. It was
like, you know what I mean?
It's
kind of hard to do, that kind of elevated them to heroes, like to the people everyone wants to root for.
I should throw this out there. Evil Uno is a very underrated wrestler.
Oh yeah, he had really a decent
good
match with Miro. He had a good match for the title when he, good effort at least.
Uno's
really good. Stu Grayson is really good too.
Grayson and Uno, I think, will win the tag titles eventually. They should.
Oh yeah, at some point. Yeah,
I think so. If they do want to keep the Dark Order and Hangman together, I think personally, if it was me, they should both win the titles on the same night.
Okay, that'd be cool.
That's just me. But Anna Jay wins. Then we got the main event, which is obviously the main event because it's a lights out match. Suzuki-gun, Minoru Suzuki, and Lance Archer versus Moxley and Eddie Kingston. Holy shit.
Yeah.
One thing I do want to bring up is I love the fact that they turned that tweet about the Suzuki incident into a storyline. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and again, this is another thing that AEW does that they get ahead of things. Right. Like, they knew, we cut off his music. Even in that moment, if they didn't realize it, like, we cut off his music, once they saw the reaction, they were like, okay. And they turned it into something. They kept Suzuki. They went back to Suzuki and said, hey, stick around for a few more weeks. We're going to make it up to you. Like, we'll do this. We'll do that. You know what I mean? Like,
I cannot wait to hear the crowd.
This is going to be brutal. This is going to be brutal. Yeah. These four guys are going to beat the shit out of each other. It is going to be wonderful.
Minoru Suzuki, known as the Murder Grandpa.
John Moxley he would literally die in that ring, I think. Yeah.
I wasn't that much of a fan of their match on Dynamite a few weeks ago because
I think it was rushed. I think it was time.
It was rushed.
I think it was rushed.
Because my favorite, I loved their match that they had in New Japan last year in the beginnings. That was fantastic. That was brutal.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I'm excited for this. This one's kind of tough.
I think it is too. However,
given that it's lights out,
it's lights out. Eddie Kingston, hometown, New York.
Yeah.
I don't.
Though we'll mention that once we get to after this because I think they will add another match tonight.
Okay.
Either they'll do the match tonight or they'll add it on Friday with Miro and Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, they could do that. I'm gonna go ahead. I think Moxley and Kingston are gonna win.
Really?
That I do. Yeah.
I don't think Suzuki's sticking around much longer.
No. I don't think. I think this might be it on at least AEW.
I know that he's here in the U.S. because he was not booked for the G1, I believe.
No, he isn't, and I know he's got some indie. He's fighting Daniel Garcia soon.
Which kind of sucks because now Naito is out of the tournament.
Yeah, I know.
Dude's got bad knees, man. He needs to just relax for a while.
Yeah, take a rest. One of the matches that they booked while Suzuki's here is he's fighting Nick Gage.
Yeah, that's gonna be
wild.
Is that before the Moxley match that Nick Gage has? I believe so.
It might be because Moxley's the champion now, right? The GCW champion. So, but I think they're fighting relatively soon, sometime in October. So relatively soon is going to be Suzuki and Gage, and that's going to be ridiculous. I think Moxley and Kingston, just because I don't think they have Moxley lose much at all, really.
Right.
And it's Kingston hometown. He's going to get a hero's welcome in New York. And
Then I thought about it. I'm like, well, AEW doesn't really do the you losing your hometown situation that much. Well, they did it last week to Layla Hirsch. So it's
few and far between though. They don't make you look like a. And you got a perfect example. You know, Bianca Belair was in her hometown for SmackDown, and they made her look like a friggin' idiot. So,
that's what they do. But that's that's tough. I don't know.
I think it is tough. I think it is a tough one. It really is. But I just think because of the hometown factor and other stuff, I'm going with Moxley and Kingston. I just.
Yeah, you know what?
My thing is with the Forbidden Door, it's awesome. But has anybody that's come through the Forbidden Door won? They always put the AEW guys over.
I feel like at some point they're gonna have to put somebody over from the Forbidden Door. Yeah,
I agree. But I feel like so far, even though the Forbidden Door is amazing, and it's like, oh my God, Suzuki's here, Kenta showed up a little bit, like all these people, TNA people are showing up, like or Impact. I'm sorry, it's cool.
I know,
but like they all don't.
Sami Callihan's not going to show up anytime soon.
No, but they all don't win either. So
that sucks for Sami Callihan, man.
Yeah, that would have been fun. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Moxley and Kingston. That one was not hard to. That one was not easy to predict. Like there was a lot of matches. Some of the matches on the show not easy to predict, like Bryan and Omega, Cody and Black, and this match here.
I agree.
And like who knows who else is gonna like show up? Or we don't know what else is gonna happen on there. Maybe they might add Miro and Sammy Guevara to the. If they do, I think Sammy should win the title. That's just
really.
I know. You're shocked to hear that, right?
I mean, not really. I mean, Sammy. I like Sammy a lot. I think they built him to be something important. Right.
If not that,
I just think Miro's on a run right now, man. You got to ride Miro.
If not, build up Jungle Boy for that.
Yeah.
I like the idea of Jungle Boy winning it, but yeah. So I'm excited for the show. I know you got to watch along to get to.
I do, yes.
But thank you for coming on doing this predictions video with me.
Yeah, definitely, man. Thanks for having me. I know we've been chatting a little bit to try to get together and do something, so I appreciate you having me on. This was a lot of fun. I'm really excited for these shows. On Love Wrestling, on our Twitch stream, we will be having live watch-alongs tonight for Dynamite and on Friday for Rampage. So if anyone's watching this video beforehand or after, whatever, feel free to hop in, yourself included, obviously. I know you kind of hop into a lot of our stuff, so you've been a follower for a bit, so I appreciate that. But yeah, dude, hop along. We're going to just be watching and kind of shooting the shit in the chat and just kind of having a fun time because this is it's exciting, man. There's two big shows. I think we're going to get some good stuff.
What a time to be a wrestling fan, man.
Yeah, it's the best time in my opinion. Like the best time in a while.
If you told me like 4 or 5 years ago that CM Punk would be back in wrestling, or Bryan Danielson would be in not wrestling for WWE, we'd have Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson. Adam Cole wouldn't be in WWE anymore. Malachi Black wouldn't be in WWE anymore. I would have called you a liar.
Yeah, nobody would have believed it. And now we're here, and you feel like, it's just exciting every week. You feel like you don't know who's going to show up, what's going to happen.
About CM Punk being back is he's just having fun.
Correct, and you can see how happy he is on his face. You can just see it.
Like he doesn't feel forced to go somewhere that he doesn't want to do.
Correct.
He's having fun, and that's what it should be about.
100%. And I just think right now it's real fun to be a wrestling fan, and we're reaping the benefits. So. Yeah, man. But again, thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun, so I appreciate it, man.
All right. Peace out, guys. I'll leave the links in the description, hopefully, if I remember, because I'm lazy. But I'm at the Mipsit. Peace out.